Task 1 is the first task that we will be doing for the instructional design project. The project as a whole, as you might have noticed, is broken up into various tasks, and submission of these tasks have due dates and there are points associated with it. So let's look at what you need to do for task 1. Task 1 is the needs analysis for your project. You will be describing the problem, who the audience or the learner is and their characteristics. You'll look at what current resources are available in the particular organization that you're going to be working with, and what kind of training is already there, and what are the constraints that you will face when you are designing a program for this particular audience and this particular organization. Now, this is a worksheet that is provided for you in D2L. It's to help you brainstorm and make sure that you're covering all the important aspects of a needs analysis. So let's look at the problem. What is the problem, the perceived problem, so to speak? And what do you think are the causes for this? So who are you going to ask about this particular situation? And what is the problem that you have, what is causing it, and what are the suggested solutions? Remember, there can be any number of problems, but you're not going to be solving all of them, but your needs analysis might bring up a lot of problems there. What is the need then? So if these are your identified problems, then what is the need that will fill this gap that is existing now? Are these needs instructional or non-instructional? Now remember, in rapid instructional design, they do talk about how some needs in an organization are not really instructional and they don't lend themselves for training. So differentiate that and look at what other alternatives there will be for such situations. You're also looking at constraints. You have geographic, cultural, technical constraints, technical being a big one, regulations, formatting, funding limits, any number of constraints that you can think of. And since this is being designed for a situation that is relevant to you, come up with constraints that make sense and play out in the field that you're working in. Some things could be like, for example, in nursing, a constraint could be just getting the time for everyone to turn up for the workshop. Do you have time for that? Then you're going to be looking at the resources that are available. Now you have human resources, you have non-human resources, and you have resources for design or you have resources for implementation. So think about what resources are available and make a note of them. So you've been given points and tips on what to be looking for. For example, you're going to be looking for human resource with content or development expertise. Basically, you're looking for your SMEs. You also need testers, right? So who's going to be testing this for you? And non-human resources, what is existing that can be leveraged? So if it's a training for some kind of product that they have, is there documentation from the provider of that product that you can leverage? For implementation, who's going to be a facilitator? Who is going to provide technical support? Because remember, most times instructional designers, we design the program, but then we're not there during the delivery. So you have to make sure that your program can run even if you're not there. So think of all those aspects when you're working on this aspect of your task 1. Next, who are the learners? We're looking at learner characteristics. It's not sufficient just to say they are learners from this particular organization. No, we want more information about the learners. So what do they already know about the proposed topic? Now, are you working with people who have used this process for 10 years and now it's just an upgrade that they need to know about, or a refinement? What is it that they should know now? What is the new thing that you're going to be teaching them? And do they think that the information is useful? Do they know how and when to use it? That's important. So, and to take part in your program, your training program, what prior knowledge do they have to have? Do they have to have some kind of education and trainings? Or do you know what education and training the employees of the organization currently have? What is their reading level? What is their knowledge about the topic, their vocabulary and language skills? their computer skills. Now, if you are going into a blue collar job and you want to start teaching them something and you're giving them a complete e-learning package, you have to think about their computer skills. How technology savvy are they? So those are things that you need to know about your learner. Now, what is their motivation? Do they are they intrinsically motivated, extrinsically motivated? What is their attitude towards the subject matter? What is their anxiety? If it's older adults, do they have anxiety? What is their learning preference? All these factors will impact your training, and it's better to have a sense of all this going in rather than figuring it out as you go through the program. Cognitive and physiological characteristics, language development, learning styles, learning ability, manual dexterity, if your training program has to do with something with manual dexterity, mobility, all has to do with what is the training program you're thinking about and what is my audience and how am I going to bring these things together. And what circumstances will they be learning under? For example, is it going to be at the end of the day? Are they being expected to come back on Saturdays for this? What social support and what resources and equipment is available to them? Social support would be, are their peers going to be motivating them, or are you going to have a group of really negative people who are being forced into this training? And when are they going to apply these skills? We already identified the problem, so now you have to think about when will they be applying these skills and how often. So how do I make this training relevant to them so that it gives them the most impact? If this is a skill that they're going to be applying or using only once every month or once every 2 months, they're definitely going to forget whatever this training is between their different the different times that they implement it. So you're going to have a training program that can be replayed by these people often enough and in a timely fashion so that it helps them when they need it, which is where the how often becomes relevant. And who makes the decision to participate in the instruction? And we know stakeholders and we know other the politics of being invested in this, and the employer's buy-in is crucial. Your middle management and upper management buy-in is crucial, so you do need to factor that in as well. Grading, this is a small, it's the first step, and I'm assigning 5 points to this. It's due on October 15th. Now, I will be providing feedback on the needs analysis that you provide. You do have the opportunity to review it and update and make changes to it. And your final paper, when you submit it, all this will be re-evaluated as well.